When you were talking about beliefs in the beginning, I think about beliefs a lot, and I've enjoyed, maybe for 20 or 30 years, noticing that I have a belief that's just a belief and that it isn't a fact.
It's just a practiced thought with momentum because it's been practiced.
Yeah.
So it carries some weight.
So the pleasure that I've had is when I've noticed something like, me or humans thinking you can't do this or we don't do that, and you don't even notice that you think that. And then, so the pleasure has come from the actual realizing, oh, that's just a belief. I don't necessarily know what I do believe, but now I've recognized I don't have to have that anymore.
Before you go further, because we like where this is going, but we want to put something stable down on this path that is unfolding. So, a belief is a wonderful thing, because a belief is focus. And a belief, law of attraction, will actualize around and turn into reality. And so, beliefs are good.
Great.
And what makes them so good is that there's always another one and another one and another one and another one and another one. That's why we say you never get it wrong and you can't get it done. And so let's say you hold a belief and it's not a pleasing one, but it's showing up in your experience because it's an active vibration with lots of momentum. The wonderful news is you can alter that belief. You can adjust that vibration in order to accomplish something that you want. It's like Groundhog Day. Did you see Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
Jerry and Esther turned it on and didn't know what they were watching. And it was confusing because they got in the middle of it and they couldn't figure out what was happening. But once they caught on that this person was getting to relive that day over and over again and fix the things that weren't working so well when he'd lived it before. So he just got better and better and better. He said things to women that were insulting to them, and then he modified it, and they were still insulting to them. And he just kept changing it until they smiled instead of slapping his face. That really is what it's like in this vibrational universe. You get to keep modifying your belief for your own personal pleasure.
Well, so the reason that I raised my hand is that I have enjoyed noticing beliefs. And I've heard you make mention about beliefs are just thoughts you keep thinking, and this current conversation about momentum. And what I was just wondering is, are there, I don't mean to say beliefs that we should believe in, but are there beliefs we should believe in? I mean, is there...
Well, here's the answer that you're looking for. Yeah. So you accept the longevity of your beingness. And you accept that you are an extension of source energy, and you are sifting through contrast, and you are, from your personal experience, asking for more. And that your inner being is there in that vibrational reality, becoming the more that you keep asking for. And when you reemerge into non-physical, you reemerge into all that you've become. So yes, there is a platform of beliefs, if you want to call it that your inner being knows, that are proven throughout everything. Beliefs such as love is the only vibration that comes from source. And everything that you live as you reemerge into non-physical shores up that belief. So your inner being knows that there is only love. And when you find hatred, you feel the discord. And so you can find the belief that your inner being believes, that source believes, through learning what your guidance system is telling you. By learning that when you're having a really strong negative thought about someone and you're pushing really hard and you're trying to dig up as much as you can to push against them, and it feels so awful to you while you're doing it, you got to know your inner being just isn't doing that. Now, your inner being may not be all sunshine and roses on the same topic. In other words, your inner being isn't trying to influence you to something different, but your inner being is not going where you're going relative to that. Your inner being steps back always into that more general place of love.
So my inner being may not be having a positive thought about that particular thing. My inner being is just more backed out to where it doesn't look so positive or negative.
Esther said to us on many occasions, especially in the early days and yesterday, apparently you need more information about this person. How can you possibly stand in your joyful, loving place knowing what I know about this? So the answer is, We are not staying in our joyful, loving place, focused as she is focused. We're not focused as she is focused. We've backed out. It's easier to love humanity than it is that rascal.
Yeah.
We have the ability to find things that we love about everyone. And it's not us challenging what your thoughts are. It's that we always just stand in that place of giving everyone the benefit of the doubt. And when you do that, you're in a much more aligned place. Much more aligned, therefore powerful, therefore clarity, therefore strength, therefore. So what your inner being is actually saying is, if that experience that we've been describing together were verbalized, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would not see that as a big enough reason to pinch ourselves off from all of this.
Okay, I agree. So you could just believe in the law of attraction and believe in love.
And you see, now think about what we were just saying earlier, to pay the very intensive price of happiness. What if you just always backed off from anything that didn't feel good and tried to find a thought that did feel good, so that you just stayed consistently in alignment with who you are? Think about what your point of attraction would then be, and think about how the rascals would not be rendezvousing with you. We've been saying for a long time that one who's connected to this stream is more powerful than millions who are not. But most people, when faced with a situation, don't get in alignment there. They join the lower vibration to see who can win under those conditions. And so they give up all their leverage and their clarity and their power. So we think this is a good time to talk about thoughts turning to things. So first, it's a vibration. That's what's in your vortex. And then law of attraction is responding to that vortex. And these vibrations are becoming more and more and more and more until they actually become thoughts that you could receive. So all of a sudden you get an idea of something you want. Do you recognize that statement and how it feels to you when that happens? That feeling of, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'd like to do that. It doesn't matter if it means take a walk or take a bath or go to the beach or write a letter or watch a television program. It doesn't matter what the idea was that came. But when that idea comes, you have translated vibration into a thought. You were in the receptive mode when that thought came. The question that we want to put to you, and it's really what you're talking about beliefs, what vibrational point of view were you holding when that thought came? When that thought occurred to you, were you in this high flying, tuned in, tapped in, turned on, in love with life, tuned into your inner being, source, energy, love, clarity, well-being, freedom? Were you in that vibration? Or were you in a vibration of worry or vulnerability? You're always in the receptive mode of something. We just want you to begin asking yourself, what am I in the receptive mode of? Why are vibrations turning to thoughts? And why are those thoughts turning to things? And every time it's because of the consistency. Every time it's because of what you're wanting to talk about. It's the belief. Because all a belief is a thought that you keep thinking. All a belief is a belief that has enough momentum to turn from a vibration to a thought, and it has enough momentum to turn from a thought to a thing, to an experience along the way. So that's why, over time, we've been wanting to help you not try too hard to wrestle anything to the ground and kill it. We just want you to take a step back, take a breath, see if you can get more into the receptive mode of who you really are, because your inner being is full of great ideas about how to get you from where you are to where your inner being really knows you want to be. So let's take it further. Your inner being knows, all that you've been living and all that you've been throwing into this vortex. You got the idea of the vortex? The vibrational place where your rockets of desires go. All of your beliefs that have been going into this vortex, and then law of attraction responding to it, and your inner being giving undivided attention to it. We're just going to pause for effect, because this is such an important realization for all of you. That's one walloping belief of well-being. such a belief in your well-being, so much knowledge about who you really are, what you've really carved out of life, who you really are. And that's why when you're down on yourself, you feel bad, because your inner being never believes that. So that's why we're saying, don't try to make it about the specific thing. Just know that your inner being believes in you and knows in your well-being and knows your deservability and knows your intelligence and knows your potential for alignment and knows your potential for clarity, knows your potential for inspiration, knows your potential, you see. And will never agree with you when you're focused in some way that you've pinched yourself off from this formerly called vortex, currently called fantastically created belief system that has been carved out of everything that you've lived before this moment. Your inner being's knowing of who you really are. Most important conversation to date. Yeah.
I believe I am done.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We have enjoyed this interaction more than you will ever know until you're dead. And then you will be standing with us, flowing, and you will understand the satisfaction of seeing a person or a collective consciousness, seeing a person live life and come to conclusions and ask in a natural vibrational way that they don't even really understand at first. But then coming into further and further awareness of what your incremental desires and where you have put them means to you. And then your willingness to accept that there is a relationship between you and your broader inner being, who knows all that you have become and who is rooting for your conscious, physical, human awareness of your advancement and your expansion and your evolution. And then to watch you stumble accidentally on a good feeling thought and then resonate with the understanding that you were in the receptive mode when you stumbled on it, and now you can consciously stumble on it, which isn't stumbling at all, is it? It's tuning. It's tuning by caring about feeling good, by meditating, by praising, by making lists of positive aspects, by doing more nice things for you. You have become a mass consciousness, and it is really true of teachers and uplifters like you. You've become so service-oriented to others that you don't take the time to care about your own comfort and satisfaction and well-being. You've got to tap in to the awareness of self and how important that self that is you is. And you have to find a willingness to be selfish enough to go where the good feelings are for a while. If it's a nap, if it's the beach, if it's this friend instead of this friend, you've got to be selfish enough to go where you are pretty darn certain that the good feeling will be there when you get there. You have to pamper yourself into alignment. And before you know it, the momentum of self-love will crescendo to a place that one idea after another will explode in your mind as the entire non-physical universe revels in your ability to be at the right place at the right time. Sometimes you're there for the benefit of yourself, and sometimes you're there for the benefit of others. But it turns out every time you're there for the benefit of both. But there is something that you can do for yourself. You can acknowledge, I am a self, and what I think matters, and how I feel matters. And then you can look for good feeling things, and you can acknowledge which things that you focus upon feel good and which ones don't, until you can tap into infinite intelligence. And then you have the benefit of that wisdom in everything that you explore and examine. You came as independent, free-flowing consciousness, knowing that you could never be separated from the source from which you have come.